advocate for yourself. No, seriously, really advocate for yourself. Especially Black folks and people of color. When it comes to your health, when it comes to just everything, literally everything that has to do with other people, other like organizations, businesses, anything that has to do with your health, your money, whatever, you need to advocate for yourself. And I'm saying this because, man, just came off this call with my health provider. Make a long story short, I had a procedure earlier this year, and I had a 3-month follow-up visit a couple months ago that was not supposed to be charged, was not supposed to be filed with my insurance company, or at least that they weren't supposed to have to pay anything because it had already been taken care of. It was supposed to have already been taken care of with the original procedure. It was considered a post-op procedure, as long as a post-op visit, as long as it was within the 3-month window afterwards. And that visit was, and I wasn't supposed to be responsible for anything either for that reason. And yet they tried to tell me, come back and say that I did. That the company, my insurance company paid for their portion, which shouldn't have been any portion of theirs, and then I now have to pay for mine. I was like, but that shouldn't have happened. So anyway, make a long story short, I went back and forth for like 2 weeks with the billing coordinator of the place where I had the procedure, as well as I think it's like the broader billing department of the overall provider organization. It's a huge organization. I spoke with them. I spoke with the billing coordinator at the particular location of the procedure. I don't think I spoke with my insurance company because I'm like, this is not their fault. They didn't do this. This is y'all's. And both of them were trying to like give me the runaround and like, well, it was done correctly as far as what they put into the system. The building coordinator checked with her supervisor. They looked it over and it came back and said that, it was correct. I'm like, no, that's not how, no. And I told them there was someone who had actually told me around the time back when I had the procedure, originally, and then also had the follow-up, there was someone in their office. I don't remember who it was now, and that's partly my fault for not remembering, but who she specifically reassured me that this would be the case, that this follow-up procedure would be covered as long as it was within the 3-month window. Couldn't remember who that person was. I believe it was the former billing coordinator of this office, because the billing coordinator I've been speaking with lately, she's newer. So anyway, she reassured me. She was like, yeah, as long as it's within 3-month window, it's covered as part of that original procedure. So I told them that. I was like, this person told me this several times. I'm pretty sure it was the previous billing coordinator. And I was like, and it makes sense. Like, between me and the insurance company, we already paid a good grip for that procedure. It was a minor procedure. It wasn't anything major, but still with the original situation. So like this is just a follow-up, and the follow-up was, non-eventful, like everything checked out fine. So there should be no extra cost. So went back and forth with her, went back and forth with the broader billing department of the provider organization. And I think one, maybe both were trying to tell me that maybe, I need to take it up with my insurance company. I'm like, no, I don't need to take anything up with my insurance company because they didn't do this. Y'all did this. Then they really messed up, like for them, but for me, it was great. One of them happened to mention what the codes were that were put in associated with that follow-up visit. She read me the 2 codes, the primary code and whatever secondary code. Bruh, tell me why neither of these codes are what that visit was for. I'm like, wait, what? And she just mentioned it like casually. I'm like, though they were like symptomatic type codes. Like I was there specifically for something wrong with me to be looked at. Like, no, this was a follow-up visit for the procedure that I had several months ago. Like there was no issue, and there was no issue from that visit. And so I'm like, so I write down the codes, note that. I take it back to the other person, which I think take it back to the other person, I think to the billing coordinator at the specific location. And I tell her this, I'm like, y'all got the wrong codes in there. And so then she like, and I forgot to mention the billing department, they did escalate. So at first they tried to tell me that there was nothing else they could do. Like they put it in the system, it was in the system the way that it was, the codes came back that way, so their hands were tied. I'm like, no, I refuse, like, no. And so they're like, okay, well, we can't escalate it. So y'all kind of told me that y'all could have done that about 10 minutes ago. So they escalated it. Several days passed. They come back. They were like, after reviewing it, we had 2 different escalation teams review it. They both came back and said it was correct. Okay, so why? Like, how was it correct? Like, what other information? She was like, I don't know. That's just, that's 2 different teams reviewed and said it was correct. They didn't give any other information. I was like, okay, well, that's not acceptable. I need for y'all to tell me something that, like, there needs to be a solution. It's not correct. Or at least I need some rationale of how you came to the conclusion that it is correct. Tell me something. And so I would not let this lady off the phone. And so finally she was like, well, what I could do is like try to see if I can escalate it one more time or escalate it to some other team or something like that. And no, she said she was going to have somebody call me back, with like somebody from the escalation team call me back. Exactly. Like why was this not originally an option? So In the meantime of me waiting for that person to call back, I think when that person called me back, that was who I started mainly dealing with. And so she said she was going to have it escalated to like another supervisor or something. But she was like, I can't promise anything. And so, I think from that conversation was how I basically realized that the codes were wrong. And then I found out that the codes are given to them by the provider. So if the codes need to be fixed, they need to come from the provider. So I had to go back and talk to the provider billing coordinator and tell them that. And she was like, well, we didn't put the codes in. It's the coders. And the coders reviewed it and they said it was correct. Bruh. And she tried to tell me numerous times, like, the coders reviewed it and they said it's correct. It's not correct. Did y'all talk to my actual doctor and his assistant? Because that's not what I did in that office that day. Like, what are y'all talking about? So I kept pushing. She kept trying to tell me. I'm like, okay, but it's not correct. So I did say, make a long story short. But basically, after all that back and forth, and they were like, well, let me see what else I can do. Well, let me see what else I can do between the two of them. And then they tried to tell me to contact my insurance company. I'm like, it's not the insurance company's fault. Because first of all, you have the wrong codes in there. Secondly, like, y'all should not have charged my insurance company or me for this visit. Okay? And so, no, I'm not going to, no, I've already wasted enough time going back and forth with y'all. I'm not trying to bring them into this. It's not even their damn fault. What they going to do? They the insurance company. If anything, they going to be like, they going to make it even more difficult. I'm good. Like, y'all need to fix this on your end. So anyway, finally, about a week later, just finished hearing from the lady from the escalation team of the broader billing department. She's like, we reviewed it and it was incorrect and it's been fixed and you don't owe anything. I'm like, did y'all communicate that to the insurance company as well? She was like, yeah, there's going to be a claim correction or something that's sent out to them about it as well. So in situations like this, I just be like, now what if I would have just accepted, like, there's nothing we can do 2 weeks ago in the original conversation? Like, what if, and just and this is like not the exception of my life when it comes to handling business with people, especially when it comes to health related stuff. Like, there was another situation earlier this year with my insurance company where they were trying to tell me something was one way and it wasn't that as far as cost. It was a lot of cost. It was a premium cost. I was switching insurance companies at the time. And long story, that's a whole other long story, but they were trying to tell me that, basically, I'm not going to get into it, but they were trying to tell me something that was not correct. And they were trying to insist on it. And I kept pushing. Same result. They ended up being like, okay, sorry, here's our fix. Here's your refund. And I just be thinking, like, what about the people out there, like the elderly, the people who are not mentally well, people who are really young and naive, like I once was, like in the, fresh into adulthood, who don't know any better, who just accept anything that's told to them by the people, the older elders out there and other adults out there in the world, especially in the medical world, who just think that whatever's told to them is correct. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh my gosh, like all these people out here, these more vulnerable populations when it comes to their health and like getting their business handled with these different companies and organizations. I just be like, I can't imagine. And like, populations, certain demographics of populations, like people of color, who have imposter syndrome and think that, other people will know better than them or know more than them, or who are they to question whatever, or don't know to question. You know what I'm saying? Just like I'm irritated for myself, but I'm also irritated for all those people out there that works on. Like, they get away with so much. And I don't even necessarily blame completely the people who I talk to on the phone, because I don't think it's, it's not, at least sometimes it's not ill intention. I don't believe it's ignorance. It's laziness, it's incompetence. It's, and they may not even know what they don't know. You know what I'm saying? But there's some sort of massive gap. Even the lady that I was talking to today, she was like, I asked her, like, how did this error happen? She was like, well, it's not really a person who puts the codes in for your visit. It's a system. So y'all got a system put my damn codes in, and they gonna tell me, a human who was in the damn visit, that it was wrong originally, that I was wrong and it was right. Seriously? And she was like, and there are people who review what the system puts in, but things happen. So if I would have just gone off of what each of y'all were saying in those first numerous conversations a couple weeks ago, then the system would have just made that mistake. Those people who supposedly reviewed the codes would have made the mistake, and my ass would have had to pay for it. Like, it's crazy. So anyway, I just really, I really stress Advocate for yourself. Don't let up. If you know you're right, especially if you can prove you're right, do not let up, because people will get over on you if they can, whether they mean to or not. Everybody's being selfish out here, lazy out here, whatever. They are looking for stuff. So you need to look out for self. I used to feel like, weird about like, I don't want to be rude. I don't want to be too pushy. I don't want to be, forget fuck that. Fuck that. This is your livelihood. This is your money. This is your health. This is your whatever. You need to do what you need to do to make sure people do not look over you and get over on you. And also understanding that a lot of these people in these health practitioners like do not know stuff. Like you be thinking they know, but they don't be knowing. That's a huge eye opener I just didn't have in the past couple of years. They do not be knowing. So do not take their word for shit. You better and document everything too. That's another big one. Document everything, because they will try to tell you. They will try to act like they know. They don't know. I be knowing. I need to work there for crying out loud. Work in these damn offices, because I swear, Jesus. So anyway, PSA for the day. Enjoy the rest of y'all's day and week.